We continue The Desert Fathers by Helen Waddell are the translations. History of the Monks of Egypt, translated from the Greek by Rufinus of Aquileia. To Jerome at Marania, still hesitating on the brink of renunciation, there came the news that Rufinus of Aquileia was come from oversea, that he was in Egypt a pilgrim to the holy places, that he was in Nitria, that he had seen Macarius. After that, nothing but fever kept Jerome in his bed. Never, he wrote to his friend, did sailor tempest toss so look for a harbor. Never did parched field so thirst for rain. Never did mother on the curving shore keep so anxious watch for her son. It has, but its irony, especially in the conclusion, there is no way of buying love. Friendship that can end was never true. This friendship that was famous over Christendom ended in hateful and intimate wounding and blazoning outrage. Is there any friend, wrote Augustine, in meddlesome but sincere agitation, is there any friend one will not dread as a future foe, when this that we bewail hath raised its head between Jerome and Rufinus? Men so closely knit in study and friendship, ripen years together in the very land our Lord once walked with human feet. Of course, because their spiritual master was incarnate in a human body. Like every spiritual master per se. Aduni originally was a term used for both humans and God, but it got put this other way, like the ultimate spiritual master, right? There had been a touch of hysteria in Jerome's adulation of his friend. Ask me not, he had written to Florentius, to describe his virtues. You can trace in him the very footprints of saintliness, and I, vile mud and ashes, a dying spark, content if my feeble, foolish eyes can but endure the beholding of his splendor. But there is no hysteria in the abjuration when it comes. If ever a man kept his sword like a dancer, till he used it like an assassin, it was he, Jerome afloat on honeyed seas, his decks gluttonous in his own revolting phrase, with affection, the clean lines of his prose muffled with bunting. It is a very different craft from Jerome, raking into action, grey and set, with a wicked glint of steel, for the quarrel that rose between these two had more poisoned springs than the question of the orthodoxy of the great Origen, the master light of the Greek fathers. Their hate was an elixir of all academic hates. The theologian at once accusing and accused of heresy, the translator impugned for suppressing or failing to suppress obnoxious passages, the editor of texts indignant at a false ascription, the fellow student betraying one's secret preferences in literature. Each wrote what he called an apologia, and each referred to the other's apology as an invective. But the line between defense and attack is notoriously uncertain. Undoubtedly, the most grateful passages are those in which Rufinus denounces and Jerome admits his incurable addiction to quoting from the classics. Unluckily for Jerome, he had given solemn publicity some years before to a dream in which he had been flogged before Christ's judgment seat for being a better Ciceronian than a Christian, and had sworn, if I hold or read a secular codex again, I've denied thee. Does he ever write a page, asked Rufinus, that does not proclaim him a Ciceronian? Some people would pronounce it that way. A page without our Tully, our Fleckus, our Maro at every turn. Is he not for ever puffing his Chrysippus and Aristides and Empedocles like smoke into his readers' faces, bragging about reading books of Pythagoras that the learned say do not exist, edifying the ladies with examples, not from Holy Writ, but from his Tully, his Flaccus, his Maro? I can call the witness, any number of brethren living in my own monastery